Steelers mandatory minicamp is now officially in the books, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my list of 15 players on the Steelers roster that I thought stood out in a good way at mandatory minicamp in Pittsburgh this week. Before we get into the content today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button and give you guys a little bit of a heads up here. We are not going to be going live today. Producer Coop is not in the office, and we don't have enough producer help here to go live on the channel today. So we'll get a video out to you guys here, the one that we're doing right now. We might put out another one later today as well, but no live show today. The next time we will be live is next week on Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to never miss a video and never miss a live show from us here at Steelers Talk. So without further ado, let's get into our first winner for mandatory minicamp this year. And of course, it's the new QB1 here in the Steel City, and that is Aaron Rodgers, who really impressed everybody, not only on the field, but also off the field in meetings. Apparently, he was very courteous to a lot of the staff that had a lot of very good things to say about all the things that he was he was doing with the players, and of course he's being generous with his time with Will Howard, who we'll talk about here in a second. But on the field, Aaron Rodgers absolutely looks like he's still got it in terms of the arm talent. He's still able to get rid of that football lightning quick like he has done throughout his entire career. Apparently the arm strength is super easy and smooth and super just it's just smooth when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's got that signature quick release, and it almost looks nonchalant the way that he just throws that ball so easy, but the ball just flies out of his hand. It really is a marvel to watch, and even at 41 years old, he still has some of the best arm talent in the National Football League. Also, he was moving around really well. Obviously, the days of him, scrambling around and being that type of quarterback are over. He's going to have to be more of a true pocket passer in his time here in Pittsburgh in order to be successful. But the pocket footwork, the quick feet, all this different stuff that we saw from him during the drills this week was very impressive, and I'm very excited to see what he's going to look like once we get to Latrobe in late July. Then another quarterback that I thought had a really good week was Will Howard, who was on my losers list for the OTAs, and even Will, admitted that, and he was on the record saying, I struggled during OTAs, but this week I thought he was a lot more in control. Apparently during the team periods, he led a successful 2-minute drill. He also, just found a nice connection, and he was going through the progressions really nicely. Rodgers even complimented him on the grasp that he is having of the Steelers offense already, and you can just tell that Rodgers is going to be good for Will's development. I mean, like Will said it yesterday in his presser and his media availability after practice, saying Aaron's a great mentor. He's always treated me with the utmost respect and just been really good to me. And a guy like that, he doesn't have to do that. So I do really just appreciate him being willing to take me under his wing a little bit and give me pointers and tips here and there. There's already some things he said to me that have already helped me. So I'm just excited to learn as much as I can from that guy and take everything he says and put it in the bank. When he says it, he's like, I don't want to overstep, but I'm like, dude, please, by all means, tell me whatever you think. And, Howard just is really good with the media, guys, and he's just a great kid, and you can tell he's a hard worker, and he wants to get better and improve, and he understands that he needs to get better and improve and develop if he's going to reach his potential. I do think he has some starter quality tools, but he does have a ways to go. So having a guy like Rodgers is the perfect situation for him to develop in the first year of his NFL journey, and it's impossible not to root for this kid, and I'm definitely hoping that he can make the proper steps in his development here in year one. Then we get to DK Metcalf here, the new wide receiver one here in Pittsburgh, and he looks as good as advertised, man. Like, he is big, he is fast, he looks impressive out there during the drills. He's got the dark visor, which is just scary, man, for a guy that big. He's like the same size, too, as Pat Freiermuth, who is a tight end, which is absolutely crazy with the way this guy can move. So he looks like money well spent to me, and I can't wait to see the connection that he and Aaron Rodgers are going to be able to build in their offseason throwing sessions at UCLA this summer once we get to Latrobe there on July 24th. Then we get to another receiver that I thought was a big winner this week, which was CA3, Calvin Austin III. And I think Calvin is one of the more underrated players in the entire National Football League. Last year, the numbers maybe didn't necessarily reflect how good he was on tape. He was consistently getting open, cooking guys in one-on-one coverage, but Justin Fields and Russell Wilson weren't really looking at him, so they didn't throw him the football. But I think that this guy has a chance to really be one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets this year. And according to Coach Z, who's the Steelers' wide receiver coach, Coach Azani, he says that Calvin is night and day different from where he was last year in 2024. So if he's even better this year than what he was last year, I am very excited to see what Calvin Austin III is going to be able to do in a Steelers uniform this year, especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who is an excellent mental processor, a much better processor than both Justin Fields or Russell Wilson are at this point in their careers. I'm really excited to see what CA3 is going to be able to do this year. And honestly, he reminds me a lot of Darnell Mooney and prime Brandon Cooks. Like Cooks back in his day, smaller wide receiver that played better on the outside but could play in the slot, really good route runner, reliable hands, good after the catch. And Darnell Mooney for the Atlanta Falcons had a really good season last year. And has had some pretty darn good years in the National Football League. He reminds me a lot of him, and he's like a legit number 2 wide receiver. So if you're looking for somebody that's going to be, productive in the Steelers' offense this year, I think Calvin Austin III is probably the most likely to step up among the group outside of DK Metcalf. But with that said, I still want the Steelers to add another wide receiver, somebody with a little bit more size, because Robert Woods is getting older. I don't know if I necessarily trust him. And then Roman Wilson, there was some reports of him having some tough days during minicamp this week, some drops, and obviously he's unproven as well. So you take a look here at the top wide receiver targets. For me personally, Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers, I would love to trade for because he's young. He's a really good route runner. He's got great size. He can run block, and he's got chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. So if you can find a way to get him on your roster, that'd be terrific. But Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, 2 big body route runners that were former number 1 receivers in this league that are no longer number 1 receivers. They're more number 2 type receivers now. I would love to get either one of those guys in free agency. And then the Steelers have also made calls on Trey Palmer, a really speedy wide receiver from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Dontavian Wicks, another physical big route runner type from the Green Bay Packers. So keep your eye on these 5 wide receivers that could be made a Pittsburgh Steeler before the start of training camp. So who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comment section. Which wide receiver target are you hoping that the Pittsburgh Steelers add this summer? Are you hoping for Amari Cooper? Are you hoping for a trade for Romeo Doubs? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pin question. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Fanatics. And while I'm telling you about Fanatics today, get down there in the comment section and answer today's pin question. And with that, let's have word from our sponsor today at Fanatics, where you guys can pick up a DK Metcalf jersey of your own, a number 4 Steelers jersey from our friends at Fanatics. You can use our link, chatsports.com/DK, to get that jersey for yourself. That is our special link. And if you click that link, guys, and you make a purchase, Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds from your purchase, so it actually helps out the channel. It helps you out, obviously, because you get a DK Metcalf jersey. So if you're liking that number 4 and you want to include that in your Steelers jersey collection today, you can go to chatsports.com/DK and secure that jersey. Then we get to the tight ends here. Darnell Washington. Mount Washington has looked really, really good in practices. He caught a great seam ball for a touchdown from Will Heyward in the 2-minute drill the other day, and he's looking the best that he's ever looked in a Steelers uniform. And he's been talking about this. He lost 15 pounds this offseason. He's looking nimble, and his route running has gotten a lot better because his foot quickness has gotten a lot better because he's not as heavy. And, this guy's obviously like as big as an offensive lineman, and apparently he is moving very, very well out there. He's catching the ball nicely, and they're even using him as like an outside wide receiver in certain formations. So this is somebody that could be a big-time breakout player for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Aaron Rodgers said that he reminds him of Mercedes Lewis, who had some very, very productive seasons with Rodgers in Green Bay. So Mount Washington's definitely somebody to keep your eye on here this year. Another tight end that caught the eye of Rodgers was Connor Heyward, who Rodgers gave a little shout-out to in his first press conference with the Pittsburgh Steelers media this week. Heyward has been making plays all week long, and, that's just kind of Connor's DNA. Even though he's not the most talented guy out there, like, he just finds a way to make plays. Last year was a really poor year for Connor, in my opinion. Wasn't really good as a blocker, didn't make as many plays in the passing game as we were hoping for, but this year he's hoping to have a bounce-back season as the team's 3rd tight end, and apparently he's off to a good start on that journey. We'll see if the Steelers add another tight end this offseason with Donald Parham going down with an Achilles injury. But Heyward's definitely making his case to be the legit number 3 tight end in this offense. Then another guy that has been doing really well as a UDFA is J.J. Galbraith, a tight end from South Dakota, who was really productive at South Dakota, and he is really good athletically. All right, he's undersized for a tight end. He's more of a receiving threat. But as you guys can see here with the relative athletic scoring, he's got really good foot quickness and agility and speed for a tight end. So even though he's undersized, he's not going to be a run blocker type. Obviously, this offense is going to be using a lot of multiple tight end sets, and they're going to be asking their tight ends to be receivers in this offense. So he's looking like a nice receiving weapon. Apparently, he's been making some really nice catches with the kind of the backup kind of portions of team practices, and I'm excited to see what he does during training camp. He's definitely somebody that's caught my eye and somebody I will continue to watch as we get to Latrobe. And then another tight end / fullback here that is really getting known for the violence and his attitude and his approach to the game. DJ Thomas Jones, another UDFA from a small school, who is out there and he is giving it 100%, and his violence is what is standing out to Steelers coaches right now. He is not afraid to hit, and he is not afraid to put his face in the fan, and that is exactly what you're looking for in a potential fullback candidate. I think DJ's best chance of making the team is as a fullback, and if he can prove his worth as a blocker ahead of Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren in I formations and offset I formations, like that is definitely something that could be a value to the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. They have dabbled in using a fullback in the past. Connor Heyward they've put there, hasn't really worked out. They tried bringing in Kyle Juszczyk this offseason. That didn't work out. If DJ can prove his worth during training camp, he's got a chance to make this roster. Then you get to Cole Holcomb, and we get to the defense now. The mullet in the middle, the golden mullet, whatever you guys want to call him. He is back after missing the entirety of the 2024 season, and he's looking back to fully healthy here, and that's really good. He was a legitimate starting inside linebacker before the injury. He was kind of a mid-level starter. Wasn't like a high-end starter, a Pro Bowler or anything like that before the injury. But if he can get back to playing like that mid-level or even like low-end starter type of play as a third linebacker, that is going to be really, really valuable to have for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because it seems like this team definitely has found their other 3-down starter at inside linebacker, and that's Peyton Wilson, the second-year guy out of NC State. And the big thing with Peyton is that he's got a real extensive injury history. He was able to stay healthy last year, which is a positive sign. And then heading into this year, man, he is looking awesome. Okay, like Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson has a chance, in my opinion, to be one of the best linebacker duos in football. Like, that is how good Wilson is looking at Steelers practices. And he looks ready to take on that every down role after really having a good season last year in a rotational role in the Steelers defense last year. So really liking what I'm seeing from the inside linebacker core here in Pittsburgh. Now, we got 5 more winners to talk about here before we finish up today's show. But if you're enjoying the content so far, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon. If you want to help out the channel, it's a free and easy way to help us out. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content and that they should push our content out to other Steelers fans like yourselves. So if you want to help us grow today, put this video in front of as many Steelers fans as possible. Click that thumbs up icon to help us out. And then we got 5 more winners here, all of them in the secondary, okay, on defense. First one, Joey Porter Jr., who I'm really a big fan of, guys, and I'm still a big believer in, and he is somebody that is taking his development seriously. He saw all the penalties that he had last year, and some of the bad games, frankly, that he put on tape last year against top-flight wide receivers, and he's like, I'm not going to let that happen to me this year. We've seen Joey Porter Jr. straight up dominate number 1 level receivers with his physical play at the line of scrimmage. And, if he's on his game and he's a legit, one-on-one number 1 receiver eraser, that allows the rest of the defense to rotate to the other side of the formation, and that really allows them to do some really, really good stuff. So JPJ is a very important piece to this Steelers defense, and according to Gerald Alexander, he's taken every single step that he can possibly take this offseason to become truly one of the elite corners in the National Football League. I think he's got the physical capabilities to be able to do that. Then we get to the slot corner here. Beanie Bishop Jr. right now is the starting nickel corner, and he is in pole position. It is an open competition between him and a collection of other players on the Steelers roster, but I think Beans is doing a good job making the most of pole position right now. He was able to make some plays during the team periods this week. He was able to cover Calvin Austin III pretty effectively from the slot, and if you can cover Calvin Austin, a speedy, really good route runner like Calvin is, like Beanie is going to be able to cover most slot corner or wide receivers in the National Football League this year. So really liking what I'm seeing from Beans, and we'll see what happens with the Steelers, because Slick Rick, our favorite People's Insider here, says that the Steelers are looking at both Jair Alexander and Jalen Ramsey, and that he expects the Steelers to add one of those guys. And I would expect the plan, if they do land one of these corners, is to put them in the slot, because Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. don't really play outside or don't really play in the slot. So my guess is the Steelers could be looking at one of these two top-flight corners to complete this cornerback room. But pick your slot for me down there in the comments section. Would you rather sign Jair Alexander, type JA? Would you rather trade like a fifth-round pick for Jalen Ramsey, type JR? Would you rather ride with Beanie Bishop Jr. as this team's starting slot, type BB if you'd want to go with Beanie? Make sure you guys let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Another slot corner that I thought had a good week with the backups was Donte Kent, the Central Michigan rookie that was taken in the 7th round by the Steelers this year. And I really like Kent's game. All right, I'm a big fan of this guy out of Central Michigan. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's got great physicality, and he also has nice physical attributes that I think could translate to the NFL level. So, we talked about Beanie Bishop Jr. had a good week, but he's going to have to continue that into Latrobe, because Donte Kent, I should say, I think has been very impressive, and he made multiple plays on the football this week. Then we get to Cory Trice Jr., the team's starting dime backer and potential future CB2. Like, a lot of people talk about the Steelers cornerback room, like, oh, Darius Slay is in his final year of his career. We need to get more depth. But the Steelers truly feel like Cory Trice Jr. has a chance to be this team's future number 2 outside corner. He got some experience last year, had a couple good games, some other games not so good. But this year, he really looks explosive. He's back to 100% healthy, and obviously, Omar Khan said at the Combine this year, a big thing for Cory is just to prove he can stay healthy, because he hasn't been able to do that so far in his NFL journey. But right now, he's looking like the healthiest he's been since he's arrived to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as a starting dime backer, I think he could be a big-time player for this defense. Then, speaking of big-time players that could be like secret weapon type of players for this defense this year, Juan Thornhill, formerly with the Cleveland Browns and Kansas City Chiefs. He's been dealing with some injuries in recent seasons, so his production hasn't been as good as it was when he was with Kansas City. But he's back to fully healthy, and he was making some big-time plays during the team periods during minicamp this week, man. I love the double deuce on him as well. He's got the visor, and he just wants to go out there and make plays. And, he's a ball hawk. He plays with great instincts. And his role as a third safety in this defense, with Mike Tomlin liking to use that third bandit safety to go and get interceptions and roam over the middle of the field, I think is a perfect role for Thornhill's skill set. So if he can stay healthy this year, I think he has a chance to be a big-time impact player and an absolute steal at the price tag that they got him this offseason. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Who is going to be a surprise breakout player for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? Let me know who you think that's going to be and why you think they're going to break out to finish up today's show. And that'll be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. We got more Steelers content coming your way throughout the weekend. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.